Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
Back at you in Gloves Off. I'm Paul Buitrón. I'm here with Greg Switzer, and we're going to touch base on the problems with politics and what people should look for. How are we doing today?
Doing good.
Doing good?
Been a good day so far.
It's been a good day. It's been a good day. You've been around politics for a while.
For quite a while, yeah.
Tell me, what got you motivated to start getting involved and to teaching people the rights and the wrongs of what's going on in politics right now?
Originally was the government history class, the civics classes I took in high school. I took a little bit of break when I entered the Marine Corps, and then when I was at George Mason University studying government and pre-law, got back into it. I was the spokesman for the Young Republicans at George Mason, a new chapter there.
Okay. What do you see Texas going through? Do you actually see this red wave that everybody's talking about? How the change that's going on? Are you seeing that out there? Because you're out there quite a bit.
I am. I do see the red wave. I'd like to think that it was stronger than it is. On social media, it sounds greater than it is, but the fact is we still have a lot of people who are still at home sitting on their hands, not getting involved. Not getting involved in that they're not going to the legislative sessions to testify, they're not getting out with their local groups and campaigning, finding the candidates that they support, so it still needs a lot of work.
How would you motivate the individuals to start moving forward? Do you think they've just been complacent about just, apathy?
Yes, I think they are complacent. People, I believe, are still giving too much faith in the fake news and still sitting on their hands. And the easiest thing is get someone involved. Once they get a taste of it, and get a feel for the camaraderie and the groups, then they'll get involved. They'll get involved more because it's, to get outside the house, get a little fresh air, talk with like-minded people, then that's what typically motivates people to get involved more.
Absolutely. We've been hearing a lot of fake news and fake endorsements and so on and so forth. And let's touch base on that because apparently there's been some going on that you're going to touch base on.
That's right. What we call the gifters, these are organizations, PACs, including the RNC, that promote themselves. They'll send out spam, email, text messages claiming to be one of the Trump family members, when really, when you look at the link, it could go to one of three organizations. So they're soliciting donations. The RNC is a big component of this. The Win Red Pact is a newly formed, and it's deceptive what they're doing to get your money, thinking that you're supporting the Trump campaign when actually you're funding another campaign and you have no idea where your money's going to. So that's the gifters. The easiest way is when you do get these emails, scroll down to the bottom. There has to be a disclosure there, or if you click on the links, there's always a disclosure down at the bottom of the website, so you know exactly who you're sending money to. And the simplest thing there is the candidates that you want to support, donate directly to them. Don't go through these websites, especially the Win Red PACs. And there's a couple of that kind of escape me right now, but the RNC is big into this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's always been around. People are going to they're going to try to scam somebody out of money.
Absolutely.
And it's unfortunate, but it does happen.
Yeah.
It does happen. So people need to understand. People need to basically wake up and say this can happen and this has happened, and not go along with it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. How do you see these elections in 2022 coming around? How do you see the change of positions? Do you see a lot of incumbents not winning?
The incumbents that I guess you're talking about the kind kind of marquee name people. Yeah, I'd like to think that they're not going to win, but I highly suspect that the Dominion software is going to play a big role in keeping them in office. And that the grassroots, as hard as they are fighting and getting their candidates' names out there, I mean, they're going to have to do more than just campaign. They're going to have to actually show up to the polls in large numbers, just like they did in Virginia, and really fight for it, have a huge presence. Don't take no for an answer, regardless of whatever propaganda they've issued in the past. So in the campaigning, showing up in person, that's really important. And we have to kind of send the message that your illegal campaign and your vote harvesting, we're not going to settle for that anymore. We're certainly not going to let you get away with it. And until we send a strong message, people out in force, then they'll get away with it again.
Absolutely. And that's what I see happening. A lot of folks are talking about new electronic machines that are going to be collecting our ballots.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
I think all the machines need to go away. New, old, it doesn't matter. The software is the same. It's all owned by the Dominion company, the smart software, all funded by George Soros. It needs to just all go away. We need to go back to paper ballots.
Who's the one that changes the legislation for us to go back to paper ballot? Can it be a state law?
It could be a state law, and typically it is a state law. And the governor's office has all the authority to get any bill passed that they want.
And, well, number one, it's not. It's just like term limits.
Yes.
A lot of folks don't understand that it's a state that grants the term limits.
That's right.
And that's what we have to be pushing.
State election laws determine term limits. It's not something that's done in Congress. And that's the other thing. People still have too much faith that the government is actually going to do what we're supposed to do for ourselves. If you want less government, if you want less taxes, then get up, be active, and vote these people out. The best way to implement term limits is for all these organizations that put up a candidate to run their candidate for 2 or 3 terms, find a new candidate, and run them for the next 2 or 3 terms. And that's the surefire way to have term limits.
You know, a lot of individuals, and there's folks in there that jump in for many reasons. Some people are just mad at the system. Some people actually studied to be that. Others were groomed.
Right.
But whichever way, I don't think anybody's going in there to do something wrong. I just find out, I think that once they get in there, they get entangled in the thorn bush. And when it comes to re-elections, or they have to start doing their campaign again, that's when people get into trouble.
Yeah, that's a good point. There were a lot of freshmen who were interviewed, and when I say freshmen, I meant freshman congressmen who were interviewed after the last midterm and even the general election before that. Went into office with all the right reasons, all the good intentions, but they couldn't get anything passed for their districts because of the establishment. And in order for them to get any type of votes, they had to make a deal with the devils. And there's very few, I think it's a small caucus of 12 that have stood their ground. They didn't accomplish much in Congress, but they refused to sell out.
And I think that right there is what happens.
Yeah.
And everybody always gets in trouble going for re-election.
Right. Yeah. And that's just it. The opposition will play either side. If you sell out, then you're part of the establishment. If you don't sell out, then the opposition campaigns that you didn't accomplish anything, that you didn't accomplish any bills, get any bills passed, and make a difference for your people. So,
in Texas, which are the counties that you've been all over, that are very active and very much pushing forward? Which ones do you think will be?
As far as the ones that I see that are very active, let's see, we have Hays County, Comal County, Kendall County, Gillespie County. Bandera is starting to show up, and let's see, Kerr County, Medina County. They're kind of seasonal. When there's not a race to be run, they They go on about their normal business, and then when it's time for race time, they come out in full force. Atascosa is pretty active. They certainly need to awaken more people. Wilson had a good showing last election. Let's see. There are a few others that kind of escape me. I think Fort Bend is starting to come out. And they were threatened by a blue wave, but the movement now is that preserve what they have, and they've been heavily recruiting in that area, especially in Sugar Land, Katy area. And then we have some new grassroots organizations like Vote Actively that's really starting to support some good candidates, and good candidates that are trying to expose. They may or may not make it into office this next time, but the work that they're doing exposing the corruption is good, though.
Absolutely. Within all different bounds, this way, like you said, the red wave is a lot more active, and it looks a lot more dangerous in social media than what it actually is. And the same thing I'd say with the blue wave as well. It probably goes hand in hand. I think social media is just blown out of proportion.
Yes, it is.
But in actuality, people need to go out there and vote and exercise that right. It's actually a privilege. So people need to go out there and vote.
That's right.
You know, we will hold some debates. We'll hold the U.S. congressional debate, District 28. I'll have some the commissioners' debates and some JP's debates, because that's what people they need to know who their candidate is.
Right.
And I think if we have some type of way to get the word out, I think we should start educating those or that do not know.
Absolutely.
What would you tell folks out there right now? What is their best, how can I say it, way for them to get involved?
Contact their local parties. Contact people. Everyone knows someone who's campaigning for someone else, or at least campaigning for the general good. Contact them, just get involved. Show up, learn what their platform is. If you agree with it, participate.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you, and I want to thank you with what you're doing, because I've seen your work, and you're running around all over the place, and you're getting things done, and that's the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Until next time, much peace.